Welcome to It's All Relative. I'm Josh.
And I'm Timothy. What's good?
And we back at it again with episode 3.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's going on, my man?
Man, I'm doing well. Days is it's up and down, man. Some of it is kind of crazy, but we're trying to maintain. It's okay.
Yeah, that's all we can do, man.
That's all we can
do. Yeah, I feel you. I'm on the same level as you.
I
understand.
Sure.
Last time we talked, you had mentioned that there were some issues with you were having trouble with eBay. How's that going now?
So it's still an ongoing thing. I mean, that managed payment thing is not going away.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the worst thing. Now that I've read a little bit more about it, you still have to switch over by the end of the year. And they actually, for me, they're giving me a little bit more time. So they said I have to just do it before December 31st. I'm going to just quickly knock it out of the way regardless.
What happens if you don't do it?
So what will happen if you don't do it? They will actually either A, stop you from selling things, or B, they will actually make it so that your listings don't show up. So
that sucks.
Yeah, so they basically saying you better do it or you ain't getting money.
Yeah. Okay.
We got to get to it.
Yeah, that's important then, for sure, to get that done.
For sure.
So, well, today we got a great episode lined up today.
Word, what's it about?
All right, so when like huge news stories break out, and no matter whether it's good or bad, wherever the story takes place, people from that area take some form, some level of pride, whether it's because, the story takes place in their hometown.
Yeah, it's like a hometown celebrity.
Yeah, or maybe, they even know the people involved.
Of course. That's even worse in some cases.
Right, in some cases. But either way, people, when a story hits close to home, people tend to obviously pay more attention to it.
Right.
But they do take that level of pride,
Of course.
something that it's always a conversation starter.
Of course. The thing that always gets me, like all these serial killers, like how come there's always like the ladies out there, they've fallen in love with the serial killers. They come in after them. But no, it's serious, like all of them, man. I mean, shit, I can't even think of them off the dome, but you've heard of them. And they've even had movies on this where like women in particular get obsessed with it. You know what I mean? Like with them. Maybe they're handsome and things of this nature, but at the end of the day, he's still a killer.
Yeah.
Stop it. It's all good.
That's funny.
Yeah, man.
Do you have, I know you have lived in a few different states.
Yeah, I have.
Have you ever, are there any crazy stories that have happened or that you've experienced that have happened in any of the states that you've lived in?
Quite a number of them. I mean, living in Texas in 2005, I lived through the brunt of Hurricane Katrina. So when that hit, I think it was like around August or so, or was it June, something like that.
That hurricane was devastating.
It was devastating, and it pretty much wiped out most of the real big cities of Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more of like, not only did the hurricane hit, it didn't hit Texas as hard, but it hit Houston pretty decently hard. So we had to deal with that. And then the influx of everyone coming from the destroyed parts of Louisiana. I remember in particular, I mean, this is not like an actual person, but natural disaster is still something crazy.
Right.
We had to go to the stadium, like to get all of these refugees and stuff from Louisiana and help them out in the stadium and everything.
This was in Texas?
This was in Texas.
What stadium was that? Was
oh, God.
Do you remember? Was it the
If I recall correctly, it was the stadium that the Rockets played.
I was just gonna say, was it Houston Rockets?
It was Houston Rockets.
Because I think I remember that actually. Them using that stadium.
They used that stadium.
Yeah.
And I was there as one of the volunteers and stuff, man.
Wow.
And there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened. I remember there was a point in time where there was a kid that got lost.
Mm-hmm.
And this kid, I mean, she was like maybe like 8 or 9 or something like that. She couldn't find her family. So I basically, scooped her up and I was looking around for an officer and stuff. And you could just walk around and just see like there's a lot of, crazy stuff that was going on. There was people crying and, people looking for, naturally, people looking for their family, like this little girl. But long story short, I think within like 30 minutes or so, we found an officer. I made sure I stayed with her because she felt more comfortable with me than the officer.
Right.
And we found their family. So
Man, that's good.
yeah,
that
so
was good for you.
yeah, man.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. So there was that. Not only did Hurricane Katrina happen, but like a month later, Hurricane Rita happened, and that hit us hard. And when that happened, that knocked out like all the power and stuff.
Right.
So, but we don't really need to go into that too deeply. But aside from that, in Georgia, when I was much younger, like 11 years old or so, we went to the 1996 Olympics. So we were actually there for that bombing. There, people don't know that, or maybe some kids out there aren't born then, but there was a bombing that happened at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, and we were there. And my dad scooped me up when that happened. And, you know, he took off in one direction or whatever. And he got into the Tercel and he was out.
Wow.
But
that's definitely a memorable event.
Memorable, right.
I mean, even to be able to say that you were at the Olympics.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then,
alone,
and then to
for
have
that to happen.
an issue like that happen, that's wild.
Yeah, but when that happened, the guy, I think his name is Eric Rudolph, he took off, and apparently he didn't even get caught for like another like 4, 5, 6 years or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so he himself. Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
But it's crazy. But I guess, I mean, I know my mom talks about that a lot too. Still, even to this day, she talks about the Olympic one.
Oh yeah, that would be a story that's definitely that hit home.
That hit home.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely something to always remember, especially since you were a part of it.
A part of it, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Well, today's story is a story that when this happened, I followed extremely closely. I was really into this story. I don't really know why. I think it's I think maybe because of the way that the story happened. The story itself is so wild.
Okay.
But it's the 2015 prison escape from the Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York.
Okay, so
that is
our part of the neighborhood.
Correct, but that's pretty far upstate. It's almost near the Canadian border. So,
okay, that's way up there.
Yeah, so pretty far up there, but beautiful country upstate.
Yes, sir.
Up that way.
Yes, it is.
I enjoy it. My family really enjoys that area up there.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, this one is I guess even farther
up,
you know, than we're used to.
Well, let me throw a side question at you then. Did the Canadian police did they take any part of this search? I mean, I guess you're going to get into it, but
right, actually,
just in case.
That I don't think so. I think this was all which we will get into that, but
okay.
The main focus was New York. The police officers, everything. It was crazy case.
Okay.
So, but on June 6, 2015, so we're about 5 years ago now, right, that this story took place.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So, but on June 6, 2015, Richard Matt and David Sweat were discovered missing during a 5:17 a.m. bed check at the maximum security Clinton Correctional Facility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, their escape was referred by the media when this happened to a real-life Shawshank Redemption.
Wow. That's crazy.
Have you ever seen the movie?
Yeah, I've
seen
familiar? It. Yeah, definitely.
It's one of my favorite prison escape movies.
Okay.
You know, that one was definitely, I thought.
Any reason why it sticks out to you in particular?
I don't know. I do the storyline of that, you know, of the main character Andy. You know, he went to jail.
Okay.
But he was innocent, you know?
Yeah.
And the way that he planned his escape, I just thought was real cool.
Right.
I love that movie. I also do like the Clint Eastwood Escape from Alcatraz.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that one?
I may have seen it, but I don't remember the details on it.
Yeah, it's a lot older.
Yeah.
But that one was real interesting too. That one was cool. Clint Eastwood did a really great job in that.
Yeah. Have
Are
you
you-
ever? Have you? I was going to ask you. Have you ever watched Life before? What was that
With
where
Martin Lawrence?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Exactly.
I
I mean,
forgot.
they attempted, but they never really got out. But,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask, are there any other prison escape movies or TV shows that you ever watched or were familiar with, or that you like?
Not really, and I find it unfortunate that I haven't watched that one TV series known as Prison Escape. I heard that it's pretty cool, or it's pretty lit within like the first 2 seasons, and then after a while it falls off. Or is it called Prison Break?
Oh, Prison
Prison
Break.
Break,
Yes.
yeah.
Huge shout out to Prison Break.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan. Actually, that is my dealing with prison
Prison
stories and
everything. Yeah.
whatnot. Prison Break is my favorite one. Huge shout out to Michael Schofield and Lincoln Burrows. Those are the two main
Well,
characters.
shout outs to both of them.
My wife and I really like that show.
Well, I have to watch on it.
Yeah, I advise anybody. I guarantee you that you're gonna get hooked on that show.
Okay,
it's
for sure.
It's exciting, and there's originally there were 4 seasons
Okay.
of that show, and they were all great, all
right.
great episodes. But a few years ago, they came out with like another episode, or like another season,
Like an
which was
addendum to it?
yeah, which was it was years and years and years and years later. But the way that the series ended originally, like with the 4th season,
Okay.
it was tough to even think of how they could even start, another season. So it was
What's the gist of the third season, the end of the 3rd season? Without spoiling it too hard.
the 4th season,
Or the 3rd season, rather.
well, you talking about like the final season?
Yeah,
of
because
the-
you were saying the 4th season is kind of rough.
or that's the 5th season that came out.
Oh, okay, the 5th
So
season.
the
Okay.
original part, was 1 through 4.
All right,
Okay.
I got you.
So we'll just season 1, they focused on the actual prison escape. Okay. Season 2, they were on the run.
On the run. Oh, okay.
Season
got you.
3, the main character Michael Schofield gets caught and goes into another prison, which is even crazier.
Was it
'cause
like
it's down-
maximum security?
Yeah, it was. Well, it's different because it was like down in like
Hopefully it's not
Mexico
Georgia.
or something. No.
Oh,
It was like
Mexico,
one of those
Jesus.
weird prison, not like a normal prison. Like this
Mhm.
one was kind of like a, good luck.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you never
And then
get seen
the-
again.
yeah, and then the 4th episode was, the 4th season was them, Michael Schofield and his group pretty much trying to fight back and get at everybody that caused them all their issues and the reason why they originally were in prison in the beginning.
Oh, really?
Which is
so
wild.
are they all
But-
also prison inmates?
Yeah, well, so Michael Schofield is like the main character, and he has a brother, Lincoln Burrows,
Okay.
who is sentenced to death.
All right. He's getting the
and-
electric chair.
But he's innocent, and
Oh, okay.
so
Interesting.
Michael Schofield is trying to figure out how, like what they can do. Like
Right.
they can't it's legally because there was like video footage and whatnot of him actually pulling the
Pulling the
trigger of a
trigger.
gun
But he's
and
al-
whatnot.
But you
But
can't
he
always
swears-
see who's shooting at.
He swears that he was innocent. So
Right.
Michael Schofield ends up the only way to get close to his brother, which is I believe was the only was to get sent to the same
Sent-
jail that he was at. His brother
Okay.
was at. So then once they're in, then they can plan.
Then they
their
can
escape.
plan to get it together. Yeah.
But the 4th season ends, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Although it's a super old show, so.
That's
But
all
like I
right.
said, I don't even want to spoil it for you, my man.
For sure. Thanks,
So,
bro.
certain events lead to where, certain people aren't there at the end. So then it's tough to figure out how they would start that 5th season. But they did, and it
Well,
wasn't bad for what it was.
Do you think that the 5th season could have not happened? Because sometimes
Yeah.
some shows are better, like ending it when you know it's right.
Honestly, that is my opinion. I think they should have stopped at 4, but it was so good that the fans and even myself wanted and pushed, and then they
you
came
have to
out
not
with this.
push. You know that, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to stop pushing.
They came out with the 5th season, and like I said, it wasn't bad. It was a good. They tied everything up pretty well. It just was different.
All right, so let me look at it. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna get back at you because you made me definitely interested in it now.
Right. So, but getting back to this story, the 2015 prison escape that happened. I do know that Ben Stiller has directed, made or directed.
Ben Stiller.
He was the director of the show The Escape from Dannemora. That's on Showtime.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that too.
Yes. Which okay, so the actor that they had play Richard Matt, one of the escape convicts, was Benicio del Toro.
Okay, good actor. Good actor.
And the other escape convict, David Sweat, was played by an actor named Paul Dano.
Paul Dano, never heard of it.
Yeah. I haven't seen him actually in too many things before that. So, but when this story first broke out, originally like 5 years ago, it was so wild that like even back then people were referring it to as the like a real life Shawshank movie.
Yeah, like really well planned out and everything.
Like crazy events. So like people were like already saying that like this could be a full blown movie script. So of course like people were throwing around names and whatnot of who would play the characters. Mm-hmm. And like I said, there's already a show right now where they got Benicio del Toro and Paul Dano playing. But back 5 years ago when the story first happened, the two actors that I had heard that they wanted that were possible options of playing these characters, I thought were dead on though, bro.
Okay.
Like the way, if you look at
are they like 1-to-1, like they look the same and everything?
To the listeners, look up Richard Matt and look up David Sweat, and so the characters that they had or that they had mentioned was Tom Sizemore.
Okay.
You familiar with Tom Sizemore?
Yeah.
He he played in The Relic, Heat, Saving Private Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
He was mentioned for Richard Matt.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's super close, bro.
Hold on. Give me a second. Tom Sizemore and Richard Sweat.
No, Richard Matt.
Richard Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, and I definitely have to look at this.
They look mad similar, bro.
Oh, no, they actually do.
Right?
Wow.
Okay, so and the other guy so for David Sweat, the actor that was thrown out as an option was Ed Norton. And Ed Norton played American History X, Italian Job, Fight Club, classic. Dead on.
Okay, yeah.
Dead on. That's why with the show, like when I saw that it was and nothing against who plays these characters in the show. But man, Tom Sizemore and Ed Norton would have been dead on. Perfect. Perfect.
These things, they happen.
Right? So similar.
Oh yeah, they have the same chin and everything.
Everything.
God.
They look dead on. So this whole prison escape thing, this whole chaos that these two men caused, it cost New York State $23 million. This whole incident.
You're joking.
No.
We ain't seen the money at all. Where'd the money go?
Yeah, right.
Oh my goodness.
$23 million. So let's get familiar with the key players that were involved in this escape. Okay. So first, there was Joyce Mitchell. Okay. She was 51 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the sewing supervisor at the prison.
Right.
Okay. Richard Matt.
Got him.
He was 48 years old.
Okay.
He's got a little crazy history here. So he had been convicted for previous murders, in the past. In 97, him and an accomplice kidnapped and tortured a former employer. It was 72-year-old William Rickerson.
Wow.
Yeah, Matt broke Rickerson's neck with his bare hands before dismembering his body with a hacksaw and threw the remains into the Niagara River.
So that's
wild,
okay.
Right? Okay.
It's a crazy murder.
Yeah. So then Matt flees to Mexico, gets arrested in 98 for fatally stabbing someone in attempted robbery.
Come on. How you going to get to Mexico and then kill somebody else?
Oh.
That's when you're supposed to disappear.
Yeah. While he's jailed in Mexico, he was shot trying to escape.
Wow.
Before being extradited back to the U.S. in 07. Okay. So then in 08, he was tried for murdering Rickerson and found guilty for second-degree murder, robbery,
so wait,
kidnapping charges.
Let me get this straight. He got to Mexico. He actually escaped the first killing.
Yes.
Got to Mexico, got to chill, killed somebody else.
Correct.
Ended up there, then tried to escape.
Correct.
Got shot trying to escape.
Correct.
Then got extradited like 10 years later.
No.
Almost.
Oh, yeah. Let me check.
Or is that 9 or 8 years later?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, crazy history. So, yeah.
And we're not even at the story yet.
Right. When he got, so when he was found guilty, he got 25 to life, you know?
Okay.
So that was a little back history on Richard Matt.
Okay.
Now, David Sweat, who was 34 at the time, he was the other escapee.
Okay.
Okay. He's got a little history too.
Not like this guy, is it?
Not as, I shouldn't say bad.
All right,
not as deep. All right.
Let's see it then.
Okay. So on July 4th, 2002, Sweat and two accomplices robbed a gun and fireworks store when they encountered a county sheriff. You know, the sheriff was shot 15 times.
Oh, okay, wow.
And Sweat ran him over with his car.
Oh, come on. This is just
alive.
his word. Well, after 15 shots?
After 15 shots. That's crazy, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Either they got bad aim or, I mean.
No, that's not bad aim, man. Bad aim is being like a stormtrooper.
15 times. So he was actually hit 15 times.
Yeah,
so
and still alive.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Maybe, I don't know, bulletproof vest, maybe.
Maybe.
You know?
It's definitely possible.
But, okay. And another character involved in this whole escape thing was a man named Gene Palmer.
Okay.
Okay. He was a prison guard who worked at the facility, who basically turned a blind eye, you know, every time Matt and Sweat would smuggle tools and contraband to their cells.
All right.
There's a little bigger history on him too. We'll get into that in a little bit. But the last person involved was Lyle Mitchell.
Okay.
Who was basically the clueless husband of Joyce Mitchell. Okay, and remember she was.
But is he really clueless though?
Clueless on what when all this was happening. I'm sure he worked at the prison. He was the maintenance man.
Okay.
At the prison.
Okay.
So I don't know how much contact I guess him and his wife had throughout the day with, you know, her being in maybe one area of the prison worrying about sewing and whatnot.
Right.
And him, you know, doing what maintenance men do.
That maintenance work.
Yeah, and that's all over. You know, prisons are big. So, you know, I don't know how.
They are.
So, but he was basically, I guess, I mean, I do know he did had say like to reporters after all this had happened that he didn't know. He wasn't aware of the events that were going on. So
it happens.
We're going to take a quick break real quick before we dive deeper into this story.
Sounds good, man.
But
I'm very interested in this story.
Yeah, it's so wild. It's such a great story. Like I said, I really followed this story when it came out. But before we go on break, we just want to remind our listeners that they can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Please subscribe, comment, like, share. Give us that 5-star rating.
The 5-star rating, please.
5-star rating is important.
Yes, it is.
Please show the love. You know, we would really appreciate if you guys supported the pod. So I have a question for our listeners out there. Do you own a computer? Are you having trouble with broken screens, data backup issues, password reset problems, virus spyware removal, software installation issues? If so, Slipstream Repair Computer Electronic Solutions has you covered. Contact Timothy Latunde at 845-204-1712. The email is ss.sho16@gmail.com. Once again, that is 845-204-1712. And the email is ss.sho16@gmail.com. Call or email to schedule a free consultation. And I guess we'll be right back.
All right. We'll be right back then.
Welcome back to It's All Relative. We're about to take a deeper dive into this story of the 2015 prison escape.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Okay.
So, all right. You ready, my man?
I'm ready for it, brother. Let's go.
All right. So, Sweat entered Dannemora, the prison facility, in 2003.
Okay.
Okay. And Matt in 2008.
Right.
Okay. They got their cells moved next to each other in the prison's honor block.
Okay.
And what the honor block was like, it was given to inmates who had years of good behavior.
Okay, so you've been a good boy and or girl.
Right.
They move you up.
Right. And somehow they talked their way into, getting their cells next to each other.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Yeah, continue.
So now on the honor block, Matt and Sweat were allowed to cook their own meals,
okay,
work in plumbing and electricity, and wear civilian clothes. So it's a lot more lenient, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They get a lot more
freedom.
Opportunities, freedom.
Yeah, they feel more like like a human.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Got it.
So now they traded goods and favors with guards and other prisoners for paintings that Matt did. So Richard Matt had a history of he was a good artist.
Okay.
He was very he had skill.
He had skill, right. Skill enough to be able to barter it off.
Right. And these were actually like legit, like nice paintings, or drawings and whatnot. Now Gene Palmer, who was one of the guards at the prison, he traded tools to Matt and Sweat for a number of different paintings.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So
how many paintings?
I don't know. They had just mentioned a number.
Okay.
They said like a number of paintings.
Alrighty.
So I'm assuming, more than two.
More than two, right? Yeah.
More than a couple.
Enough to get them tools. So
right. So he would deliver tools that were in meat, right? That Joyce Mitchell would bring to them. So what they would do, or what she would do, would take this raw meat and put tools there, like drill bits. They had a bunch of different tools and then she would freeze the meat and then bring it to the prison.
Okay.
All right. And then hand that off to Gene Palmer, and then who would then hand that off to Matt and Sweat.
Wow. So wait, she was in on it from the beginning, or like when did she come in?
Joyce, yeah. So okay, so let's
let's go.
All right, so let's go in a little deeper with her. Now, Joyce Mitchell, okay, the prison seamstress.
Mm-hmm.
She got close with Sweat, who worked in her tailor shop. Okay.
Oh.
Now, Mitchell would later admit to giving Sweat nude pictures of herself, but claim that they never had any sexual content.
Oh, that's a lie. Come on now.
So, okay. but it's a little different when it comes to Matt.
To men.
All
Yeah.
right. So her relationship with Matt began after he had offered to paint her kids as a gift that she could give her husband, Lyle Mitchell, as a anniversary gift. So she said that her and Matt were alone in the tailor shop one day when he kissed her. Okay. She says she was scared of Matt, who then forced her to perform different sex acts to him, yet she still admitted she was caught up in the fantasy of helping the two men escape.
Oh, she wanted to be part of the story.
A better life, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, I don't know how. I know that they got somehow they got a bunch of hacksaws into the prison too.
How
Like,
big
for
was
just-
the meat for these hacksaws?
That's what I'm saying. I can't imagine.
It's
that.
kind
I
of
don't-
ridiculous.
That's crazy, but they did have hacksaws because Sweat used the hacksaw, right, to cut a rectangle hole in the back of his cell and then out another into Matt's adjacent wall, since they had, their cells were right next to each other.
Are you going to go into how they actually hack the hole? Because that would be interesting.
I mean, I know that I had read and seen that Sweat would spend hours and hours, like every night. I think we'll hit on it a little later, but Sweat would wait until after the head count, in the evening, and then start chiseling
away.
and
Jesus.
just everything to cut out the spot so he can get out, right?
Yeah. Could you imagine him just like chiseling away,
Bro,
for
that would
hours and
take
hours?
so long.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to think. I mean, just to think about the possibility of freedom,
Yeah, sure. Freedom makes you want to, hack away at a wall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a quote that I had heard from one of my favorite TV shows, and it doesn't pertain to anything like this, but the quote was it had said never underestimate a man's will to be free.
Wow. Very powerful.
Yeah, which is crazy because even the thought, I mean, if you're in prison, and the thought of being able to maybe even have that have the thought of freedom,
Right.
that gives you hope,
Right.
and then
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is like that is exactly the reason why I would never get myself into a situation to even get in prison, because I don't even
Yeah.
want to be put in the situation where everything is taken away from you and you just don't have anything. You're less than a human.
right.
Yeah,
That's
to
real.
get to have to build yourself back up to a place where you want to escape so you can get that stuff back.
It's tough when you
Yeah.
when you get sent to prison, and do your time.
Right.
You go through crazy experiences there, and you
Mhm.
have to fight to stay alive.
Exactly.
And then if you're lucky enough to be able to get out,
Right.
once you're out, that's a whole nother ball game because you have to learn how to
Readjust.
readjust,
Yeah.
acclimate back to everyday life.
Right.
And today's society doesn't give you that chance.
No.
You come out as a ex-convict,
Mm-hmm.
you are looked at a certain way.
It's true.
And technically, you're supposed to, you go to prison because you're supposed to pay your debt to society.
Right.
You've done your time,
Right.
and then when you come out, you're supposed to have a clean slate, which is
It's never really clean, brother.
absolutely that's not the case. That's
No.
never the case.
No, but let me tell you, I'm gonna just say this real quick and just throw it away. I have been watching a YouTuber that actually did take advantage of his jail time. His name is Larry Larton.
Mhm.
Larry Larton.
Mhm.
You can look him up on YouTube. I've been watching him since he had maybe like 100,000 subs, and now he's like nearing 1 million. So, but he talks about like his heists. He was a jewel thief, and
Okay.
he talks about his heists. Like these are like real talk heists, not like
Mhm.
the Ocean 11 nonsense, but like the real. We about to rob this place blind type of stuff.
Right.
And he got away with a couple, he stuff had to happen or things happen, but eventually he got caught. So
Right.
and he had actually been going through the prison system. He even went to Georgia down there in those prisons. And those prisons are crazy down there.
Mhm.
That's like, I went to one prison and, they do a whole scare straight program.
Mhm.
Yeah, I ain't trying to go to prison. But yeah, he went down there and he actually managed to survive. And when he got out, I don't know what happened when he got out, but eventually upon, reacclimating to society, a
Mhm.
lot of things happened. Like he had a kid while he was in jail, and people passed on while he was in jail. So he got to miss out on all of that. So
Right.
it's definitely what you were saying. But he decided to take it and turn all of his experiences into a YouTube. So at least for him, he's got himself back. He turned his life around, and I'm sure he's making a lot of good money
That's
just
good.
talking about his life.
All the power to him,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
And it's good that he could channel
he
that
could channel,
energy,
yeah.
like take those life experiences.
course.
Those are the best stories, It kind of sucks having to go through bad shit,
Yeah,
but
man.
like it usually helps you grow
Right.
as a person, or
Right.
it teaches you a lesson. And when people look back at those times, it's usually times that they are thankful for,
Right.
having to go through those things. It's
Yeah,
always
for sure.
good, and it's like I said, it's always good when you can spin it to a positive.
Right.
That's always, it's always the best.
So there's always a chance.
Right.
If you're just getting out of the pen or from wherever, there's always a chance. Just to let you know, I've also had personal friends that have made it. So yeah, you don't have to be like a YouTube celebrity, but yeah, you can definitely make it.
Absolutely. Shout out to all those people, man.
Shout outs.
So, all right. So getting back to the story, so Matt and Sweat's cells were 4 stories high, right?
Okay.
But behind the wall was a catwalk that gave them access to the prison's infrastructure. All right. So, like we had said, Sweat would wait until the 11:30 p.m. head count, then crawl his way out his cell and look for a way out.
Oh, okay.
So he did this on numerous occasions. I remember reading that he would spend all night out in the walls, looking for a way out.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask, did he, get like a view of the area? Did he like have a map? Did he?
He didn't have a map. I think like what it was he was just trying to get familiar with the layout, I guess, and the quickest route to be able to get out.
Okay.
And not just for him, but also thinking like, he's got he's got Matt, right?
Right.
Which they do go, we will go into talk, but they were both had very different body types. So
okay,
you had to take that into account as well. But on June 6th, 2015, they left their cells, right? They cut a hole in a steam pipe, but they left a note that said, "Have a nice day."
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to mess with.
Just to mess with them a little bit.
Yeah. So 400 feet beyond the prison walls, there was a manhole on the street where they came out, right? Carrying a soft guitar case that was filled with clothes, food, and pepper to throw their son off to any dogs.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, which is crazy. A guitar case, which is kind of good thinking. Because when they asked Sweat why, later on, why the guitar case, he had said that if someone had spotted them, it's a lot easier to say, you just came from a gig or you're a musician.
Wow, very interesting.
Right? But the crazy thing is, when they came out of this manhole, right, in the from the street, a civilian had seen them and spotted them and
spotted them out of the manhole, or just walking from it,
climbing out.
Oh,
right?
Goodness!
And I guess just climbing out and starting to walk, and the civilian had gotten their attention, asking hey, what's going on, or what are you doing?
Was there like a siren blaring in the background or nothing?
Nope, because at this point, nobody even knows that they're missing yet.
Wow. Okay, even better.
So they, like I said, they dipped out after that 11:30 head count. So it's the evening, they're not coming back.
Right, of course not.
Matt and Sweat dipped out.
They dipped and they were gone.
But when they had come out of this manhole, the civilian, had asked them, what they were doing, whatever. And Sweat had talked his way out of it, saying that he was a musician and whatnot, and that Matt was like his roadie.
Oh,
You know what I'm
wow.
saying?
He had the quick thinking for that one too.
He did. He had it all planned out, which is cool. And that was thinking off the top of your head, for real.
Right off the dome.
But like I said, that soft guitar case, that came in handy.
For sure.
Yeah. So now Joyce Mitchell, right? She was supposed to pick them up and bring them supplies so they could survive, but she never showed. So she was supposed to.
Oh, so she had like a part 2 of this.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
She was real involved. So she was supposed to meet them, like, be parked on the street, somewhat close to where the manhole was. So when they came out, all they had to do was just go and get right in the car.
And then just take off.
Right. She never showed.
Oh, she fell off already.
Yeah. She said that she suffered a panic attack and checked herself into a hospital.
Oh, she checked herself into a hospital while they escaped?
Yes. So, and while she was there, she later states that she feared the convicts would kill her and her husband after she outlived her usefulness.
Okay, that's actually interesting. That's actually interesting. I can understand it now because, yeah, I mean, you've realized that you've been used since the beginning. You're bringing somebody meat and tools and stuff, and this is like hardened criminals and stuff.
Absolutely.
One of them that's been killing since forever.
She was definitely manipulated, hardcore.
Hardcore, yeah.
But like she had said, though, she was really tied up into the fantasy of having a new life, being on the run with these two dudes.
She could have started her own new life with 2 dudes that are free. What's she doing?
I don't know, bro.
Okay.
That's
I guess.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Yeah, you want to start a new life, go start a new life.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So, well, originally the plan was for Joyce to pick them up, right? And drive them back to her house. Okay. Where Matt would kill her husband. All right. Obviously that didn't happen.
Well, she didn't want her husband to die.
Because she suffered the panic attack. There you go. Right. So Matt and Sweat were originally going to drive to Mexico with Mitchell's car. Okay. But when she didn't show up, they decided to, obviously they can't get to Mexico. Yeah. They decided to head into the Great North Woods and eventually Canada.
Okay, that's a better escape, to be honest with you. Mexico got the watches.
But they ain't getting to Mexico on foot.
No.
So, and like I said, upstate New York, where they were at, where the prison facility is at, is very upstate, very close to the Canadian border, and it's deep woods.
Is it within like a mile or a couple miles?
I don't know exactly how close, but I know that close. But I don't know how close. I can't give you an exact.
That's all right. I'm just trying to get like a picture of like them escaping, their path, what they would take.
Right. Well, all right. So at 5:30 a.m., right, on June 6th, during the prison's head count, so the whole night went by, right?
Okay.
Guards discovered that Matt and Sweat were gone.
They discovered the hole in the wall.
Yeah.
It's almost like out of a comedy or a comic book.
It's crazy though too, because it was like parts of like Shawshank and whatnot where Sweat would leave like blankets, like wrap blankets up and bulge it out to make it look, and maybe put like a sweatshirt
on. Yeah.
Make it look like that someone was sleeping in there. So if a guard is just walking by,
they're just, all right, he's sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. And not even,
Yeah, it gives them a couple of hours. Eventually they're gonna bang on the door. What's going on?
Yeah, they definitely had a couple hours. So once the officers discovered that they were gone, right, the manhunt begins.
Wow. Okay, the chase is on.
And this is crazy too, because like we said, like this whole search, this whole fiasco cost New York State $23 million.
It's a crazy. I'm still trying to figure out where the money come from. To catch these 2 dudes.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So Matt and Sweat were on the run for 3 weeks.
So not only were they costing New York money, but they were gone for a minute too.
Yeah, like that's what's crazy, because usually when you hear of convicts escaping from prison, like they're often found.
Yeah, they get caught in short order.
Soon. Yeah. 3 weeks is a long time.
That's a long time, bro.
A long time.
I'm telling you, if it was 3 weeks on me, I would have been very far away.
Especially with the supplies that they had. I do know that like the food that they had brought with them, they had saved up only like granola bars and like peanuts
Okay. They may
to
have.
survive
Did they
off of.
talk about like hunting or
Well,
kicking in like convenience stores or something like that?
right. Well, they're so far up, like up in the woods and stuff. There are no stores, but there are like lots of cabins. You know,
Okay,
people
so
have
they were
cabins
robbing.
because people have I mean, people go hunting up there a lot.
Right.
They have they don't stay there year round, obviously, but like during the specific hunting season time, they would go, you know,
Mhm.
and those cabins up there are well known. They have, because they're used for hunting, they have lots of guns,
Yeah, lots of guns, dry
lots
food, and
of
everything.
ammo.
Okay, guns
You
and
know,
ammo. Okay,
okay.
I see what you say. I thought you were talking more about food and everything.
No. Yeah. So, I'm sure there's a substantial amount of food too, but more or less the guns and ammo, because you know, people go and use these
Right,
cabins.
right,
They're
right.
going hunting.
So they stocking up.
So yeah, throughout the 3 weeks, or you know, throughout the weeks when they were on the run, when they came across cabins and whatnot, they'd break in and take what they could, uh, you know, and
Were they using it for
guns and
protection, or they were like actually gonna hunt with it?
um, I don't know. I would assume that they'd probably take it for protection, knowing that, you know, that there's a lot of people looking for
A
them.
lot of
You
people
know?
coming for them.
So they need something,
I
because I
guess.
mean they didn't have anything, you know. Remember,
Right.
they only had the stuff that they left the jail cell with. So
Right, and the guitar case.
right, being able to find like, you know, guns or whatever, I'm sure that, you know,
Were they like
they thought it helped
shotguns, or
them.
handguns?
Yeah.
Or what?
Okay. So yeah, shotgun. So on June 26th, okay, 2015,
Okay.
in Malone, New York, Matt, okay, shot at a passing vehicle with a 20 gauge shotgun.
Okay.
So he had stolen that 20 gauge shotgun from one of the cabins.
Okay.
Police, obviously, that I'm sure the person that they shot at called the cops, you know,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
so police caught up with Matt, and they ended up shooting him 3 times in the head.
Jesus.
Okay. And
That's the end of that one.
autopsy showed that he was drunk at the time of his death. His blood alcohol level was 0.18.
See, this is what I don't understand. I mean, how the hell are you gonna be drunk? This is like the perfect time for you to not. I know your life is crazy, but if you're gonna be escaped or an escaped convict for like 3 weeks, you would like to think that you would want to be on the top of your game,
Yeah,
like to stay gone.
absolutely. That was one, you know, that was one of the things that Matt would take from the cabins too, was liquor.
It's crazy.
There was a quote that David Sweat had said, that he told investigators that this was a quote. He said, "I said, you know what? I hate to do it to him, but I kept my part of the deal. I got him out and I bolted on him." End quote.
End quote. Yeah.
So Sweat. So it does go to say that so they were on the run for 3 weeks, right? But on week 2,
Okay.
I guess Sweat had gotten tired of, you know, of having to always look after Matt, and
Of
and
course,
Matt being
fall off.
drinking all
Drinking
the time,
and
and
messing
yo,
up.
they're trying to like run from that. Yo,
Right.
their
I'm trying
lives
to
are at
get out
stake.
of here. Yeah.
And this dude just keeps, you know, just messing things up. So
It's crazy.
Sweat was like, you know what, you know, I mean, it makes sense. He's like, I got you out, and you on your own now,
Yeah.
bro.
Have a nice day,
Yeah,
sir.
peace out.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, 2 days later, on June 28th, a state trooper spotted Sweat running down a road in Constable, New York, which is a few miles from the Canadian border.
Wow.
Okay. That officer ended up shooting Sweat twice, catching him in the shoulder and puncturing his lung, but not killing him.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Sweat was not killed. Matt, his head. And actually, if you look at some of the pictures, if you look up the pictures of Richard Matt's body, he had a big hole in his head.
Oh, of
there.
course, they
Yeah,
putting them down.
yeah.
Well, he's kind. I mean, let me go back to the other one. But did that constable that caught him? Did they have the information? Did they have like the profile of him running, or did he just like decide that he was up to no good because he's running?
You know what's weird actually about that is I think when he was caught, he was still in. Oh, maybe not. I thought maybe he was still in like his
Like in a
prison
jumpsuit or something? Yeah.
his prison gear, but now I'm trying to think. I don't think that was the case. I do know that where he was spotted, it was very secluded area. So it was
Right.
very odd to see
Yeah.
someone just walking in a field or on a road,
On a road or
you
something
know.
like that. Yeah.
And then
That
of
makes sense.
course by this time, the entire, I mean, it was a nationwide
Oh, it's a
story,
manhunt. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But like everybody in New York State knew what these people looked like, so everyone was on, was trying to be aware.
Right. Right. Right.
So when this cop sees this dude walk in, it
I thought you
definitely
said he was
shows some
running though. He's not running.
he may have been running, yeah.
Okay. Well, he was
But-
just some dude randomly.
Right, he
in this
didn't
place.
even see, so I guess Sweat was just casually doing whatever he was doing. Didn't even expect to see the state trooper
Damn.
driving. So yeah, the statey just happened to see him,
Right.
and then tried to get his attention, tell him to stop, and then
Start running.
took off, and then
Yeah.
he got shot. Once he got shot though, and the cops all came and were getting him cuffed and whatnot. He quoted something that was funny.
Okay.
He said, "Shawshank ain't got shit on me."
Oh no.
Yeah, which is funny.
Okay.
The
Got
only
the one
thing-
come up.
Yeah, the only thing that's funny is though that he did get caught though.
He did
which
get
is-
caught.
And Andy, the main character in Shawshank, got away,
He did get away.
which is a little different
It's
than
very
But-
different. Going
but
back
the-
to jail, homie.
right. But the whole escape and the whole way that he did it, that's
Yeah.
deep. That's impressive.
But let's go back to the lady. Did whatever happened to her and her husband?
Okay, so let's see. Joyce Mitchell, she ended up being sentenced up to 7 years in prison.
Okay, 7 years. Got it.
Okay. Nothing happened to her husband, I get, legally wise,
Legally,
because
okay.
he was just clueless at the whole time.
Definitely so. Wife
right.
cheating on you and doing all this stuff and escaping and all this nonsense.
Right.
Instead of just starting her new life like she was supposed to.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, man.
Gene Palmer, who was the security guard, that let them basically take in whatever they wanted into their cells. He was sentenced to 6 months in jail. He only served 4 months.
Okay, 4 months. Okay.
And was released for good behavior.
all right.
So, and David Sweat is now in Attica Correctional Facility in solitary confinement.
Damn, he gonna be solitary.
And I
for a
believe it
while.
was for 23 hours a day.
Yeah,
or something.
well, he's a prison escape artist, so
Yeah.
they about to lock him under lock and key forever.
Yeah, which is crazy because you're not escaping from
sure.
from solitary confinement
No.
like that. But he had a wild story. That was
That's pretty wild.
it is such a crazy story, right? I mean, it was so intriguing to me. That's why, I mean,
You care to talk about why it was so intriguing?
like I said, I don't even know why. I just thought it was cool. The whole way that they escaped, it's literally, it's like a movie script,
Right,
like,
right,
and
right.
it's a real life movie script. It's
Right.
crazy how they escaped and then being on the run for so long, not even a couple days, but like 3 weeks to
weeks.
survive too. Like in the I'll tell you what, bro.
And he basically messed up. I mean, the whole thing fell apart because dude was getting drunk. For the
Right,
most part.
yeah. Like once they dipped out and stuff, it was probably the smartest decision to
Trying to break
once you're
from
out,
him.
yeah, just it might be easier and whatnot to be able to survive, when it's just
Right.
one,
Let me ask you a question now. I'm gonna just ask you a real quick question. If you were in that position where you were one of those two escapees, what would you have done after the 3 weeks?
Damn.
Isn't it an interesting
Well,
question though?
I mean, still be trying to hide, stay alive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Would you try to go to
would-
Canada? Would you try to like stay in the woods for a while?
I wouldn't stay in the well. Let me tell you, bro. I mean, obviously, if circumstances were changed and like I was an escaped convict and my life depended on it,
Right.
then yeah, I would do everything that I could to try to stay hidden, survive, disappear.
For sure.
And if I knew, I ain't making it to Mexico, so I would probably, if the woods was right there, I would have done the
Hide in the
same.
woods. I'd have
Probably
became a
do the
mountain man,
same
too.
thing. Yeah,
Yes,
I would
sir.
try to. Canada's big, bro.
Canada's very big.
Canada's
Very
real big. There's lots of spots there. But no, I was gonna just say though, like for people that know me and whatnot, like 3 weeks in the woods, bro, I would not be able to survive. I can't do
I don't
that.
know, man. That
Yeah.
the fight or what is it? Flight or flight
Fight
or
or
flight
flight.
response.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said,
The will to stay alive
Right.
is gonna kick
if
in.
I had to, then yeah. But I mean, that is not something that I find necessarily enjoyable. And like
You get bored.
not even that, bro. Like sleeping outside on the ground.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of things you
cold,
give
like,
up. Yeah.
What you gonna eat, bro?
That's why I was saying, like, I thought they were going to take the weapons and
Mhm.
use it to hunt.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure they could have.
Yeah.
But
That's what I would have done. I would have tried my best.
Right.
Yeah.
Me too. Definitely.
For sure.
So, but yeah, what a wild story, right?
That's a crazy story, brother.
That was a crazy story. I
Yeah.
really, that story, I was just so into that when that happened.
So hold on, let me throw another question at you then. When you heard the story, obviously you're not there. How did you feel when you heard about this prison break? Like as you were at home watching the news, knowing that it's in New York.
Yeah, like I said, I was intrigued for sure. Like I think I was at work actually when all this had happened, and I had seen stuff about what was going on social media, and then I started to look and dive deep into it.
Were you like checking Twitter? Because Twitter is interesting for big stories like that.
Yeah, Twitter's a crazy crazy game in itself. I'm actually not on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So I stay away from Twitter. But yeah, the story was so intriguing, and I thought it was just crazy how a maximum prison facility, somewhat you could say allowed it to happen,
of course.
which
there's always gaps.
And the way that it happened, like I said, it was such a crazy, intriguing story. So
yeah, man,
it was really cool. But the whole story then left me with questions. Like a few questions. Well, questions like I wanted to know how things were impacted after this. After this whole thing, like it kind of in a sense, this story, these two men kind of made the whole prison system, the whole cop thing, the whole law enforcement thing look somewhat like a joke.
Kinda is if that's gonna happen. Like I said, imagine a hole in the wall and they didn't even pay attention for a couple of hours.
Right. And like like I said, $23 million. The state spent that much money to try to find two guys.
Right.
And
that could have gotten away.
Took 3 absolutely. But it took 3 weeks, which was wild. But because I had these questions, I tried to reach out a little bit, and I was fortunate enough I got to talk with a few correctional officers.
Oh, really?
Okay. None of these 3 individuals worked at the facility that this happened at.
Okay.
But they all are and were active correctional officers, and still,
so they have an idea of how things like that happen,
right? Because that was some of my questions, because I wanted to know if any like what was impacted? Were there new rules? Are there
Oh, there had to have been new
yeah, right,
rules.
to
Oh, of
try to.
course.
So I got one of the bits of information that I had gotten from one of these people, which I should say that they all wanted to stay anonymous,
Definitely.
which is fine. They're So when the COs come to work, right, their lunch bags and like their food containers, everything that they bring in needs to be see-through.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that makes
It makes
that makes
sense,
sense. Yeah.
but not something that I would have even thought of, But once they mentioned that, that definitely makes sense.
So that this whole see-through thing happened after or before?
From what I gathered from what this individual was saying was that after that this has happened,
Wow.
but rules like that, I mean, they could vary from prison to prison,
Of course,
like
yeah.
some may have already had that rule like in effect.
Well, they definitely have to have it
But
now.
now,
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
everybody. I know also that after this incident happened, that COs then had to take classes where they had to watch instructional videos on inmate manipulation
Wow.
and improper staff and inmate relationships.
Okay.
So,
Was this a nationwide thing or just for? Obviously, it's for New York, but was this a
I
nationwide
think
thing
it
as well?
was no, I think it was more focused on the prisons here in New York. I think because
Okay.
since it hit home or so close to home, like here in New York,
Right.
um, the prisons took it a lot more serious, maybe than in other states
Oh, they
across
definitely
the
had to.
world. So,
Yeah, I mean
right.
that's kind of an embarrassment to New
Yep.
York in a way.
Yep. I do know that the prison COs after this had happened, they also had to go through different escape drills.
Okay. And what to do and
Right. Yeah.
taking formation and everything.
Yep. An interesting fact that I was told was that the inmates, right? They make the COs uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Really?
they make a lot of things. I
See,
mean,
I
it's not
didn't-
always just license plates or whatever for cars and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
right.
they make a lot of
I
different things.
see. I didn't know that. Which I thought was just weird. I mean, I guess I see that and understand that, but
Right.
I mean, I guess
It's almost like slave labor type
Right.
of stuff, but they don't care because they get like commissary or whatever. They get like different things for doing it.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
so-
true. I just found it a little odd or just strange that these prisoners are making these COs their
That's
clothes,
clothes.
and these COs are the ones that
They help them
are
out. You think they make it like
watching
yeah.
and so but I guess it would be different. Like these people who are making the uniforms, these convicts. I mean, I guess you can't really pull any shady shit or anything.
But honestly, like watch that YouTube I was talking about. There is
I'm
based
sure there
on
are
this guy. There are a
ways
lot of
and-
ways,
yeah,
boy.
I'm
There are
sure.
a lot of ways.
So, lastly, okay, I got this quote
Okay.
from this once again an anonymous correctional officer.
Oh, by the way, just thank you for all of these stories.
Oh,
You anonymous correctional officers. You really didn't have to do that, but thank you.
absolutely! Shout out
Sure, shout
to these CEOs. I appreciate them. The information,
sure.
yeah, I appreciate the information. It was
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so ready?
Yeah, ready.
It says, "Quote: That escape, or we're referring to this 2015 incident. Okay.
Okay.
Quote: That escape changed how every prison in New York handled those situations, how strict and documented security got, how
Wow.
inmates and staff were checked. All right. Now, I guess there's documents and checks by higher ups for checking secure areas that can lead to outside areas.
Okay, so it's like a tiered type of check-in.
Right. There, it seems like
It's almost like
lots
the
of
COs are in there. Yeah, they like in prison too now.
lots of responsibility, and a lot more focus
A lot more
on paying
focus,
attention
of
to
course.
what's going on. It seems.
Yeah.
Inmate cells are now checked more frequently. Okay. Reports of staff being over friendly with inmates are really checked. All staff are searched coming into the prisons every day, which I would have thought would normally happen.
You would be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. I would think that they would want to be fast and loose because they could trust everybody working there.
That's true. You're right. But I guess now,
now they can't.
You walk in the prison, you getting searched, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and more restrictions on what we can bring in for work, end quote.
Wow.
So they've definitely, I guess the prisons here in New York have definitely focused and laid down some ground rules to try to ensure that this would never happen again.
For sure.
And I don't believe, at least in the last 5 years, there hasn't been another.
No, there hasn't.
There hasn't been another escape that was at least as wild as this one was.
Exactly.
I mean, that's about it, man. That's the story. That's the deep dive into that story. Like I said,
thank you for it. That's a hell of a story. I mean, I wasn't really. I mean, when it happened, I just watched it on television. I was like, all right, it's happening in New York. I wasn't too big on it because I already know people that have been in prison and stuff.
Right.
I've never heard of a prison escape like that. So.
Right. That's why it was so interesting. Like I said, it was a real life prison escape that seemed and felt like a movie script.
A movie. Yeah. Right.
Which.
So you were fascinated by that movie script.
I was. I thought it was real cool. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm neither here or there on it doesn't matter on my opinion about these individuals and whatnot, and I'm not really getting into the whole like good guy versus bad guy thing.
Right.
I was just talking about the story itself in general.
The escape, how they put it together, how they got away.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Movie script for sure.
For sure.
So, all right, my man. Well, this was fun.
That was fun, brother.
Definitely a great episode. We want to remind our listeners again that they can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Please subscribe, comment, like, share. Give us that 5-star rating.
If you could, please.
Yes, we'd really appreciate that.
Thank you.
We want to take the time right now to thank our editor, Deirdre.
Thank you, Deirdre.
Thank you.
Thank you, my dear.
Oh, we also want to remind our listeners to, if there's, a topic or story that they would, be interested in hearing us talk about, definitely reach out to myself or to Tim.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Let us know. We'll try and put it on.
Absolutely. We'd definitely be down.
That'd be fun.
Do you want to give them your social media? Let them know where they can get you at?
For the social media, Retro Show on Twitter. And for YouTube is Show. You will see a Darth Kermit there as my avatar. So I'll be doing YouTube a little bit more, but you can find me there. And as for Instagram, it is Tunde, TUNDE 2017.
Nice. And my Instagram is Josh_Toth3. And my Facebook, you can find me under Joshua Toth. Lastly, real quick.
Okay.
We like to do this. We like to give a special little shout out all the time to our day oneers, the ones.
Shout outs to the day one.
Absolutely. The ones who have been supporting and following us since the beginning. As always.
All right. Thanks for the support.
Absolutely. We see you. We definitely appreciate you and we love you. So thank you.
For sure.
And I guess that's a wrap, my man.
That sounds
that's
good.
Another. See you next week.
See you next week.
All right, my man. Peace.
Peace out.